The strange signals came on a Tuesday. Dr. Jiwoo Park was alone in the observatory when her computer started beeping. She had been working there for 15 years but never seen anything like this. The pattern repeated exactly every 4 hours. Too perfect to be natural. Jiwoo rubbed her tired eyes and looked again. The signal showed clear mathematical sequences, prime numbers, then the value of pi, then the Fibonacci sequence. Someone or something was trying to communicate. She called Director Hyun Kim right away. He arrived 20 minutes later, his gray hair messy from rushing out of bed. "How long has it been transmitting?" he asked, eyes fixed on the screen. 3 days now. I only noticed it tonight because I ran a new pattern recognition program. Within days, other observatories around the world confirmed the signal. It came from a star system 30 light-years away. The world's leaders held emergency meetings. They picked Jiwoo to lead an international team to study the message. Jiwoo moved to a special facility in Seoul. Her team worked day and night for weeks. Slowly, they began to understand parts of the message. It contained images and a simple language based on mathematics and physics. "We've figured out who sent it," Jiwoo told a room full of serious-faced officials one morning. "They call themselves the Collective. They're looking for habitable planets to add to their group." She showed them the decoded images. The aliens had visited many worlds. Some joined them willingly. Others fought back and lost. "They're coming here?" asked President Mina Cho, her voice steady despite the news. "Not yet. They're mapping this part of the galaxy. But they will, eventually," Jiwoo explained. General Do-hyun Lee spoke up. "The message seems to expect us to either beg for their help or hide in fear. I don't like either option." More weeks passed as they decoded more of the message. The Collective had been expanding for thousands of years. They claimed to bring peace and knowledge to all worlds they visited, but planets that refused to join them faced consequences. "They think of themselves as peaceful," Jiwoo explained, "but they don't understand the idea of leaving others alone." President Cho called a global meeting. Leaders from every nation gathered to decide how humanity should respond. "We have 3 choices," Jiwoo told them. "We can welcome them and hope they treat us well. We can try to hide and hope they pass us by, or we can respond on our own terms." Debates went on for days. Some countries wanted to turn off all signals and hide. Others wanted to send friendly messages asking for technology. A few suggested sending threats. General Lee presented a different idea. "The Collective expects either submission or fear. Let's surprise them. Let's tell them exactly who we are." "And who are we?" asked the German Chancellor. "We're humans," said President Cho. "We explore, we adapt, we survive, and we choose our own path." The room went quiet. "Tell them we know they're coming," President Cho continued. "Tell them we want peace, but also tell them we will not give up our freedom." After much discussion, the nations agreed. They would send a message showing human history, culture, and achievements. It would be honest about both their wars and their cooperation, and it would end with a clear statement. Earth welcomed peaceful contact, but would defend its independence. Jiwoo's team worked for a month to create the message. They included images of human art, science, and history. They showed humans helping each other after disasters. They included mathematical proofs and scientific discoveries. They even included honest accounts of human conflicts and mistakes. The final part stated, "We look forward to meeting the Collective as equals. We hope to share knowledge and culture. But know this, humans determine their own future. We will defend our right to choose our own path. Prepare to meet humans, not as subjects, but as a free people." On a clear night, using the world's most powerful transmitters, they sent the message toward the star where the Collective signal came from. It would take 30 years to reach them. As the signal beamed into space, Jiwoo stood outside looking at the stars. For the first time in history, humans had announced themselves to the galaxy not with fear or pride, but with honest determination. "Now we prepare," she said quietly. The old military bunker under Mount Hala became the home of Project Starlight. Deep underground, away from curious eyes, Jiwoo gathered her special team. They had 6 months to create the perfect message to aliens who might see humans as nothing more than another world to add to their collection. Jiwoo looked around the meeting room at the people she had chosen. Junho Kang was the best language expert in Asia. Colonel Sunwoo Park had 20 years of military strategy experience. Jia Li understood different cultures better than anyone. Taiho Song knew things about physics that most people couldn't even understand. The future of Earth depends on what we send, Jiwoo said. We need to show the collective who humans really are. They started with basic math and science to make sure the collective could understand their message. Then came the hard part, deciding what to say about humans. We should show them our best side, suggested Jia. Our art, music, how we help each other. Colonel Park shook his head. No, we must show our strength too. They need to know we can fight. Arguments broke out daily. Junho wanted to focus on human languages and stories. Taiho thought they should show off human science. Colonel Park wanted to include military history. One night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Jiwoo found Jia still working, looking at old photographs. What are you doing? Jiwoo asked. Jia pointed to a picture of people forming a human chain to rescue flood victims. This is what makes humans special, not just our technology or art, but how we act when things are bad. That gave Jiwoo an idea. The next morning, she called the team together. We won't hide anything from them, she said. We'll show everything, our wars and our peace, our cruelty and our kindness. But most importantly, we'll show how we overcome problems. For the next 3 months, they collected thousands of images and videos. They showed humans developing from simple farmers to space explorers in just a few thousand years. They included scenes of cities destroyed by earthquakes, then rebuilt better than before. They showed how humans fought terrible diseases and won. They added videos of everyday courage, firefighters running into burning buildings, doctors working during pandemics, ordinary people helping strangers during disasters. We need to explain why we're different from the worlds they visited before, Jiwoo said as they worked on the final part. Colonel Park tapped his computer screen. We show them this. Humans never give up. The team included clips of humans facing impossible odds. A lone man standing before tanks, small boats rescuing thousands of soldiers from beaches, scientists working for decades to solve problems. 1 month before the deadline, President Zhou visited the bunker to check their progress. It's honest, she said after watching their work. But will it convince them to leave us alone? Not alone, Jiwoo corrected. We want them to deal with us as equals. The final message began with simple greetings in 50 human languages. Then it showed Earth's location and basic facts about humans. The main part showed human history from cave paintings to space stations. It showed both world wars, but also how nations came together after fighting. It showed famine and disease, but also how humans created vaccines and better farming. The last part was the most important. It showed humans landing on the moon, exploring Mars, and sending probes into deep space. The message ended with these words. People of the collective, we welcome peaceful meetings between our worlds. We wish to learn from you and share what we know, but understand this clearly. Earth belongs to humans. We have faced extinction many times, from nature, from each other, from our own mistakes. Each time we have survived and grown stronger. We will defend our home and our right to choose our own path. We hope you come as friends. Be prepared to meet humans as equals, not as rulers. On the day they sent the message, people all over Earth watched on screens. The most powerful radio dishes on the planet aimed at the distant star. Jiwoo pressed the button that would send humanity's message into space. As the signal began its 30-year journey, Taiho turned to Jiwoo. What do we do now? Now, she said, we get ready. The phone rang in the middle of the night. Jiwoo fumbled for it in the dark, still half asleep. Dr. Park, this is the observatory. You need to come immediately, said the voice. Jiwoo sat up straight. What happened? They answered. 30 minutes later, Jiwoo rushed into the control room. Director Kim stood by the main computer, his face pale in the blue light of the screens. This is impossible, she said, looking at the data. Our message should take 30 years to reach them. They have stations closer than we thought, Director Kim explained. Much closer. The reply had arrived just 8 months after Earth sent its message. That meant the collective had listening posts in nearby star systems. They had been watching for a long time. Jiwoo called an emergency meeting. Within hours, world leaders gathered through secure video links. What do they say? President Zhou asked. Jiwoo took a deep breath. They call themselves the Harmony, not the Collective as we thought. They say they are interested in our unusual approach. No other civilization has ever responded to them this way. How do others usually respond? Someone asked. According to them, most either beg for protection or try to hide. They seem confused by our message. The most important part came next. The Harmony wanted to send representatives to Earth for direct talks. They would arrive in 6 months. President Zhou appointed Jiwoo to lead the welcoming team along with General Li and diplomat Jia. The world began preparations. Special landing areas were built. Security plans were made. Scientists created new translation tools. 4 months passed with Earth getting ready for its first alien visitors. Then came the news that changed everything. Lieutenant Min Jae-yoon from Space Command entered the meeting room where Jiwoo's team was working. His face looked worried. Dr. Park, we've detected something strange, he said, placing a tablet on the table. Our new long-range sensors picked this up. The screen showed images of space near Jupiter's orbit. The diplomatic ship was visible as a small dot, but surrounding it, almost invisible to regular sensors, were dozens of other ships. They're using some kind of cloaking technology, explained Minjae. We only found them because of the new quantum sensors. The room went silent, as everyone understood what this meant. The Harmony had sent a war fleet alongside their diplomatic ship. They're lying to us, General Li said, his voice hard. All this talk of peaceful meetings while bringing an invasion force. Jiwoo studied the images carefully. No, I don't think. They plan to attack right away. Remember what they said about our message? No species has ever responded as we did. I think they're both interested and afraid of us. Afraid? Of us? Jia asked. Their technology is far more advanced. Yes, but we're unpredictable to them, Jiwoo explained. They've always dealt with worlds that either surrender immediately or try to hide. Our direct approach confuses them. Over the next weeks, Earth's leaders debated what to do. Some wanted to call off the meeting. Others suggested preparing for immediate war. But President Zhou had a different idea. We will meet them as planned, she decided. But we'll activate Plan Hete. Plan Hete was a secret defense system named after a mythical creature that could detect lies. For years, Earth had been building hidden defenses throughout the solar system. Weapons platforms disguised as research stations, stealth satellites, and bases on the far side of the moon. We'll make them think twice about attacking, General Li said, without appearing hostile. As the alien ship entered Earth orbit, Jiwoo prepared to meet the Harmony. She felt both excited and terrified. Humanity's first contact with aliens would happen with hidden fleets on both sides, each watching for any sign of danger. The night before the landing, Jiwoo couldn't sleep. She went to the roof of the building and looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there, beings from another world were looking down at Earth, probably feeling just as nervous. They don't understand us, she whispered to herself, and that might be our greatest advantage. The next morning, as she put on her formal clothes for the meeting, Jiwoo knew that everything would depend on what happened in the next few days. The fate of Earth might rest on her ability to understand beings from another world, beings who had come with both words of peace and ships of war. The alien ship landed in a special area built in a remote part of New Zealand. It looked like a giant silver teardrop, smooth and perfect, with no visible doors or windows. As it touched the ground, a soft humming sound filled the air. President Zhou watched from the secure command center in Seoul. Activate Plan Hete, she ordered. All around Earth and throughout the solar system, hidden defense systems quietly came online. At the landing site, Jiwoo stood with General Li and Jia. They had practiced this moment 100 times, but nothing could prepare them for the real thing. A section of the ship's side simply disappeared, revealing an opening. 3 tall figures stepped out into Earth's sunlight for the first time. The aliens looked almost human, but with important differences. They had slim bodies with iridescent skin that seemed to change color slightly as they moved. Their faces had 2 large eyes that shifted colors like oil on water. They had no hair, and their hands had 6 long fingers. The first alien stepped forward. "I am Emissary," it said through a small device at its neck. "I speak for the Harmony." Jiwoo stepped forward too. "I am Dr. Jiwoo Park. Welcome to Earth." The IDAR first meetings were full of careful words and simple exchanges. The aliens stayed in their ship at night. During the day, they met with Earth's representatives in a special building with glass walls so everyone could see what was happening. On the 3rd day, Emissary finally spoke about why they had come. "Your message was unexpected," the alien said, its eyes turning a deep purple. "In our long history of meeting other life forms, none have ever responded as humans did." "How do others respond?" Jiwoo asked. "Most plead for our protection when they learn of us. Some try to hide, hoping we will pass them by. But you acknowledged us as equals and warned us at the same time." Jiwoo nodded. "Humans value their independence." Emissary's eyes shifted to blue. "Yet you must know our technology is far more advanced than yours." General Lee spoke up. "Technology isn't everything." Over the next few days, Jiwoo learned more about the Harmony. They had existed for thousands of years, adding more and more species to their group. All members shared their thoughts and knowledge through a special neural network. They saw themselves as bringers of peace and stability to the galaxy. Meanwhile, Earth's intelligence teams made an important discovery. They had been secretly studying the alien ship and communications. "Their neural network is their weakness," explained Minjae during a private meeting. "They can't handle too much information at once, especially unexpected kinds. They've never developed mental defenses because all their members think alike." Jiwoo understood immediately. "That's why they don't understand us. Their whole society is based on shared thoughts and agreement, but humans never agree on anything," finished General Lee with a small smile. They developed a new strategy. During the next meeting, Jiwoo asked Emissary about the Harmony's hidden fleet. The alien's skin changed to a dark green. "You detected our security force? Impressive." "We noticed them when they entered our solar system," Jiwoo said calmly, "just as you noticed our defense systems." For a moment, Emissary seemed surprised. Then it nodded. "It seems we have both taken precautions." "Of course. That's the sensible thing to do when meeting unknown beings," Jiwoo said. "But now that we're talking openly, maybe we can move forward honestly." The next day, Jiwoo introduced a new approach. "We'd like to show you what makes humans different from the species you've met before." She had prepared a demonstration of human culture and thinking. First, they showed the aliens videos of debates where humans argued passionately for opposite views. Then they played music where different instruments created harmony through controlled chaos. Emissary and the other aliens seemed confused at first. Their eyes changed colors rapidly as they tried to process what they were seeing. "You disagree with each other?" "Openly?" Emissary asked. "Yes, that's how we find the best ideas," Jia explained. "Through discussion and debate," General Lee added. "And that's why we'll never surrender our independence. Each human thinks differently. We don't want to all think the same." Emissary was quiet for a long time. Finally it spoke. "I must consult with the Harmony about this new information. We have never encountered a species like yours." As the aliens returned to their ship, Jiwoo turned to her team. "They're beginning to understand. Their greatest strength, thinking, as one, is also their greatest weakness against us. And our greatest strength," said General Lee, "is that we don't." For the final meeting with the Harmony, Jiwoo had prepared something special. The large meeting room had been transformed. One wall showed beautiful art from around the world. Another had screens playing different kinds of music. Tables displayed food from many cultures. In the center stood a piano. Emissary and the other aliens entered, their eyes changing colors rapidly as they took in the scene. "Today we want to show you what makes humans unique," Jiwoo said. "Please experience our world." She guided them first to the art wall. The aliens stared at paintings from different periods: cave drawings, Egyptian tomb art, Renaissance paintings, modern abstract works. "These were all made by humans?" asked Emissary, eyes flashing yellow. "Yes, across thousands of years," explained Jia. "Each artist saw the world differently." Next came food. The aliens couldn't eat human food, but they smelled spicy curries, sweet pastries, and sour pickles. Their skin rippled with new colors. "So much variety," one alien whispered. "Why not find the best food and make only that?" "Because what's best is different for each person," Jiwoo said. Then Taiho sat at the piano. He played a piece that started simple, grew complex, then returned to simple beauty. The aliens stood perfectly still, their eyes changing colors with each change in the music. When the music ended, Emissary's skin had turned a color they had never seen before. "What is happening to me?" the alien asked, voice shaking slightly. "You're having an emotional response to the music," Jiwoo explained gently. "But I have no reference for this in the harmony's shared knowledge," Emissary said. "Because it's your own experience," said Jiwoo. "Not shared, just yours." "Shared." Later they showed videos of humans helping each other, strangers rescuing people from burning buildings, doctors working in war zones, people from enemy countries helping each other after disasters. "Your records show you fight wars against each other," said Emissary. "Yet you help your enemies?" "Humans are complicated," General Lee said. "We can fight and still recognize each other's humanity." The final demonstration was the most powerful. They showed the harmony how humans had nearly destroyed themselves many times, through wars, environmental damage, and disease, but always found a way to survive and grow stronger. "This is why we will never give up our independence," Jiwoo explained. "Our differences sometimes lead to conflict, but they also help us solve problems in new ways. When one approach fails, someone always thinks of something new." Emissary was quiet for a long time. Finally, it spoke. "The harmony has existed for thousands of years. We have incorporated thousands of species, but we have never encountered beings like humans." Its eyes turned a deep blue. "Your message was correct. You are not like the others." The alien turned to face all the humans in the room. "The harmony came here prepared to offer you what we offer all worlds, the chance to join us to share our knowledge and protection. Those who refuse usually cannot defend themselves." Jiwoo held her breath. "But humans are different," Emissary continued. "You do not need our protection because your strength comes from something we do not have, your endless variety of thoughts and ideas." That afternoon, Emissary made an announcement that shocked everyone. The harmony would not try to absorb Earth. Instead, they proposed a new kind of relationship, an alliance between equals. "This has never happened before," Emissary explained. "But humans have shown us there are things we can learn from you, just as there are things you can learn from us." Over the next week, they worked out the details. Earth would remain independent. The two civilizations would share knowledge and culture, but humans would develop in their own way. As the alien ships prepared to leave, Jiwoo stood with President Zhou watching the silver teardrop rise into the sky. "They came to make us part of them," President Zhou said. "Instead, they learned from us." 1 month later, Jiwoo addressed the United Nations. Behind her, through the large windows, people could see a new ship taking shape, the first human vessel designed to travel to the stars.
"Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for humanity," she said. "We faced beings with technology far beyond ours. We survived not through superior weapons, but through something uniquely human, our stubborn determination to remain ourselves, Adai."
Looked out at the faces of people from every nation on Earth. The stars are waiting for us, and now the galaxy knows, wherever humans go, we go as ourselves, complex, difficult, wonderful, and free.